Delegate Mark Keene. He assumed office in 2010 and represents the 35th District in Fairfax County. In the House, Delegate Keene serves on the Courts of Justice Committees as well as on the Education, Finance, and Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources Committees. Let's welcome Delegate Keene.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you here. First of all, thank you for bringing the rain, and we need it, even though it didn't help us with our scheduling. It's certainly something that we need, and so I want to thank all of you for making time away from your very busy schedules to come join us in Richmond and to make sure that your voice is heard. I want to thank the Conservation Network, the Sierra Club, and all of the affiliated organizations who are part of this. So first of all, give yourselves a round of applause for showing up. Thank you. I also want to thank all of you for making time today to be on the Hill. I know you met a lot of folks today, and you started here at the breakfast. I had a chance to visit with some of your folks as well, and I've got to tell you, there's nothing better than to hear from folks who are impacted by the laws that we change every single day. So having you come down physically here makes a big difference. I am on the House Commerce and Labor Committee. I used to be on the Courts Committee. I'm no longer on the Courts Committee, but I'm on the Commerce and Labor Committee. And more to your point, I'm on the subcommittee that deals with energy issues. There are about a dozen or so bills that are pending right now, and there are about 10 members of that subcommittee, including 3 Democrats. I'm one of the 3 Democrats. And so I get the chance to vote for and or against and to review all of the bills that deal with the issues that we're talking about, probably before most of the other members of the House or the Senate, because we have a chance to exclusively deal with this. And I gotta tell you, I've been in this House now for about 10 years and had the chance to work with a lot of you in the past. And it's a different perspective when you sit on that subcommittee versus sitting in other committees, because you really get to see how this place operates. You get to see the good and the bad. You get to see how certain organizations and industries have clout over others. And you also get to see members who instinctively vote one way or another based not on policy or principle or substance, but just based on the politics of it. Unfortunately, we have a lot of members in the General Assembly who just say anytime it's coming from the industry, they automatically support it. Anytime it's coming from the environmental groups, they automatically oppose it. And so that's what we've been seeing now for a number of years. And I'm trying something that we haven't done in a long time, which is to get members on both sides of the aisle to come together and talk reasonably in common sense to see if there's a way that we can come together on core values. Values such as clean water. Who can be against clean water? Values such as clean air. Values such as cheap, affordable energy resources. And values such as energy resources that will not be depleted, but be renewed, that's clean, that's alternative, something that we can live with for not just our generation and our kids' generation, but for many, many years on down. So I'm one of those people that thinks that there's just way too much politics and partisanship in Washington as well as right here in Richmond, and not enough common sense people talking to each other. So if we focus on the most valuable principles, clean water, clean energy, and avoiding the opportunity for industry to come in and write the bills on behalf of their interests and not on behalf of all people. I think that's the way we ought to be operating. And just final point on a couple of issues. Fracking, obviously we all know, is a dangerous process. It creates all kinds of unintended consequences that we're unaware of. And so I'm hoping that we don't see many bills this year on that, but if there are bills that come through that will involve adding or allow for more fracking to happen in the Commonwealth of Virginia, I and many of my colleagues will be standing against it. Those industries that are looking to do fracking or anything else need to tell us exactly what they're using. If they're using certain chemicals that are dangerous to us, we need to know about that. So nobody should hide behind our public interest laws, our freedom of information laws, to be able to prevent us from finding out what their plans are. And so if anything that comes out with deteriorating and making the process harder to the public to know about what's going on, I will certainly vote against it, and so will many of my colleagues. And for anything that involves creating new solar opportunities like the bill that I'm carrying, which will create community solar in Virginia, I really strongly support solar as a way to go. We'll have some progress on a bipartisan basis to start the conversation so that we can start moving away from the traditional industries, fossil fuels and the coal that we know is going to deteriorate at some point into something that's more renewable and clean and cost-effective and alternative. So with that, I want to thank you for what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing, and I need to go to the floor and start voting at noon. So sorry I can't join for the rest of the time, but I wish you good luck and thank you.
Now, we all know that a rally just isn't a rally without some chants.
here today. And I think you might wonder, what is a pediatrician doing here talking about energy? Why would I take the day off seeing my patients to come down here and talk to you all in Richmond? Well, I have about 2 million good reasons to be here today. Each one of them has a name. Each one of them has a family. 2 of them live in my own house. And each one of them is a child here in Virginia. And each and every one of them deserves clean air, deserves clean water, deserves a safe and stable climate, and deserves affordable and reliable clean energy. I'm here today to speak for Robert. Robert is an 8-year-old boy with severe asthma. I saw him 2 weeks ago when he was admitted to Fairfax Hospital for a severe asthma attack, and Robert's been admitted to the hospital just about every year of his life. Now, I can treat Robert when he gets admitted. I can give him breathing medicines and steroids, but it's the folks here in Richmond who can keep him out of the hospital. It's the folks here who can keep him at home, at school, on the soccer field, because Robert deserves clean air, air free of pollution from burning coal and natural gas, which makes our children sick and harms our lungs. We can do better than that. Children like Robert deserve affordable, reliable, clean energy. We've got it, so it's time that we use it. Yes. I'm here today for Peter. Peter is a 6-year-old boy who came in my office in November for a rash. Peter had just come back from Chicago, and he had Lyme disease from a tick in November in Chicago. But when it's 50 degrees outside, in one of the warmest autumns on record, and Chicago citizens are biking and strolling on the Lake Michigan in their shorts and t-shirts, then the ticks are alive and well. Peter deserves to be protected from carbon pollution and climate change. He deserves affordable and reliable clean energy. So we've got it, and it's time that we use it. I'm also here today for the children of Augusta, Nelson, Buckingham, and Bath County, because it's not just urban liberal elite children who deserve clean energy. Children whose families have farmed and cared for some of the most beautiful land in our state, they deserve clean energy too. Children in rural counties whose parents and grandparents have cared for farms deserve to be protected from leaking gas fouling their family's heritage. They deserve to be protected from explosions along one of the longest, what would be one of the longest pipelines, interstate pipelines in the United States. Children in Nelson County deserve a $5 billion investment in reliable and affordable clean energy. Children in Buckingham County deserve a $5 billion investment in solar power, which could power 400,000 homes, create 2,500 construction jobs and 216 permanent jobs. They do not deserve another $5 billion noose tying them to a pipeline gallows of dirty, dangerous fuels. That fouls their air, destroys their family farms, and wreaks havoc on their climate. Our children deserve to inherit the same beautiful state, its fields, its farms, its mountains, with their tops, that Thomas Jefferson and George Washington loved and nurtured at the birth of our country. Our children deserve clean air. Our children deserve clean water. Our children deserve a safe and stable climate. And our children deserve affordable and reliable clean energy. We've got it, and it's time to use it.
And this is why it is so important to stay active and engaged, not only at the federal level, but also at the state and local levels. We are in the first 100 hours of Trump's administration. But this is the people's climate movement. To make sure, to make sure we stand up to all attacks on our air We know that any expansion of fossil fuel production takes us in the wrong direction, and most importantly, we know the solution. It's time for our leaders to get serious about clean energy and take advantage of this exciting opportunity for both our public health and our environment.
All right. Yeah.
So, on that note, it's time for more chanting. Okay, so here we're going to go. Wind and solar fuel is free. Ditch your dirty energy. Wind and solar fuel is free. Ditch your dirty energy. But to make it a little bit more exciting, I want everyone to stand up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear the
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Wind and solar fuel is free.
Ditch your dirty energy.
Wind and solar fuel is free.
Ditch your dirty energy.
Wind and solar fuel is free.
Ditch your dirty energy.
Wind and solar fuel is free.
Ditch your dirty energy.
Okay, now it's one of my favorite ones. This one goes a little something like this. Ain't no power like the power of the sun, because the power of the sun don't stop. Okay? You guys got it?
All right.
Ain't no power like the power of the sun, because the power of the sun don't stop. Okay? Okay, here we're gonna go. Ain't no power like the power of the sun, because the power of the sun don't stop.
say it again.
Ain't no power like the power of the sun, 'cause the power of the sun don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the sun, 'cause the power of the sun don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the sun, 'cause the power of the sun don't stop.
So I would like to just make a couple of quick announcements. Make sure that everybody has the Ditch Dirty Fuel sticker, which are being circulated around. If you don't see one near you, there are definitely a couple on the Sierra Club table in the back corner. We're going to take a group picture at the very end. It would just be great if everybody could wear those stickers. Second announcement is that there is a sign-in sheet going around. I think it's in the back right now. So if you see that, please be sure to add your name. And next up is Amory Fisher. He is the Business Development Coordinator at Secure Future Solar. He got his start in environmental advocacy while a student at Albemarle High School. Woo! I know. Let's give it up. He was pushing for solar on schools. The campaign resulted in 1 megawatt of power across 6 schools. He then went to Virginia Tech, where he received a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Policy and Planning. And now Amory serves as the Business Development Coordinator for Secure Future Solar. Let's give Amory a hand.
All right. Yay! Yay!
Hi everyone, thank you very much for being here to ditch dirty fossil fuels today. I represent one of the over 200,000 solar U.S. jobs right here, and that is 2 times the number of coal jobs in the country. So let's talk about creating jobs as well. We all know the best way to ditch dirty fossil fuels is to make them obsolete with clean energy. So here's the good news. Solar is growing rapidly in Virginia, reducing pollution and providing jobs. Co-ops are springing up all across the state, from rural places like Montgomery County to urban places like Newport News, to help individuals solarize their homes. Virginia's first community solar project was installed through Bark in Rockbridge County, over 500 kilowatts of power. And Amazon has just built 80 megawatt farm on the Eastern Shore. It will be the largest to date in the Commonwealth. Students and communities are calling for solar on their public buildings, like schools, from Fairfax to Albemarle to Stanton to Richmond. Shout out to my sister Eleanor, who, when she was an 8th grader in Albemarle County, built a mini solar robot. It was Lego solar power. And to call the Board of Local Energy, to the school board and the Board of Supervisors supervisor, she brought the robot and walked it across their desk to show that solar power is ready for deployment today.
All right.
But to put this in perspective, Dominion's solar goal is 400 megawatts by 2020. Meanwhile, North Carolina installed over 1,000 megawatts in 2015. So there's a lot of room to grow. But that is hopeful in building the next steps. So with that in mind, there are several bills that are ready to be supported this year for community solar, to expand solar legislation that would reduce barriers for organizations like schools and hospitals that can't otherwise afford it. And there are several bills that would allow individuals to buy in solar even if you can't put it on your own rooftop. So, I'm glad you're showing up to your legislators today. Call them, and also Aaron Such with Virginia Sun has a declaration of solar rights that you can go and sign online. So both Governor McAuliffe and the General Assembly have declared solar energy in the public interest. Let's hold them to it. As the solar dedication ceremony for Albemarle schools, McAuliffe said, "I hope the message we are sending here today is that every school district ought to look at Albemarle, and they ought to do it on their own schools as well. Solar is a resilient solution to the climate crisis that can build energy security, reduce emissions, and create full-time jobs in Virginia that has strong support regardless of political ideology. Let's make dirty fossil fuels a thing of the past."
Thanks so much, Avery. Now, before we get to our last speaker, there's one more chance. I don't think that we've had the chance to do yet. And this one is very, very easy. I'm sure you guys will get it. So let's just go ahead and get started. Let's see if you guys can jump in. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey, hey!
Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go!
Our last speaker for today is Dean Naus. He is the Potomac River Keeper with the Potomac River Keepers Network. He has been a river advocate for 20 years and has worked on many issues like stormwater and also fracking. In 2009, Dean was awarded the River Network's National River Heroes Award, an accolade that honors those who provide leadership and inspiration in protecting our nation's most treasured rivers. Let's welcome Dean.
Thank you for having me. And I'm still riding this high from the women's rally. How many people were there this weekend? Is that the most incredible thing? Because I went to the inauguration as well, and the energy from the women's rally was incredible. And I was really proud to have, and I heard these chants as well, but I was really proud to have my 12-year-old daughter there, so she could learn what it means to come together with a bunch of different people and stand up for what she believes in. And certainly clean water and clean air and climate change is going to be her fight. And I've been an advocate for clean water for a long time, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. The work that I've done in recent years, I was a river keeper in North Carolina for 14 years before I came to this great state and was honored to become the Potomac River Keeper. But I worked on coal ash, and it's a dirty word I know many of you know at least something about, but I didn't know a lot about it until I started really working on it. And I dealt with the Dan River spill. I worked with the U.S. Environmental EPA Criminal Investigations Division, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and some of the work we did led to Duke Energy pleading guilty to 9 criminal Clean Water Act violations. The cost of the toxic coal ash, right? So I'm proud. I'm still working here fighting Dominion on that very issue. I know many of us want to move on to renewable energy, right? We want to move on to fight on climate change, but we can't ignore the toxic legacy left behind from coal. And that's what I'm dealing with, and a lot of communities I work with deal with. And it's really sad in North Carolina, there was a lot of people particularly in Rowan County, that died from brain tumors and brain cancer because their wells were contaminated with coal ash. Those people living next to coal ash ponds. And to me, that was unacceptable. And so when I came here, I was asked to go look at the coal ash ponds down in Possum Point, and we started testing people's drinking wells, and we started finding the same contaminants in those wells that we found in North Carolina. And unfortunately, we're not doing a whole lot about that here at state. We do have some leadership. Thank you, Virginia Conservation Network. There are some coal ash bills, thanks to my senator, Senator Sorbell, and his leadership, pushing the issue of taking on the issue of coal ash. But unfortunately, a lot of our lawmakers don't want to do that. The good news is, in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, we've cleaned up about 72 million tons of ash. A lot of that's being recycled. A lot of it's being moved into appropriate landfills. The bad news is, here in Virginia, the plan is to leave it in the ground and let it leak into our groundwater, continue to contaminate our rivers. And it's not just on the Potomac, it's on the James River and many other locations here in Virginia. So I guess, do we want Virginia to be the state, the loser state in the South that leaves toxic coal ash in the ground and decides we're not going to clean it up? And that's where we're at right now. So, you know, dig it up, put it in a modern landfill, recycle it, those sort of things. And that's why I'm here today. I wanted to stand with you just like I did at the women's rally, because I just believe if we start standing together on these issues, right? I went to Standing Rock. I went to, this women's rally, and if we keep standing together on these issues, we can start having a big impact. And I'm just asking you for your support. These solid waste permits that are being issued right now, we have coal ash bills, and I appreciate anybody who would lobby on behalf of those to say clean up coal ash, but these solid waste permits are getting ready to come out, and they're going to leave these things. This right here at Possum Point is basically the test ground to see if they can leave all this ash. So if some of you come and show up and bring your people, and we get my people, we can start putting pressure on these state agencies. There's an important public hearing on February 16th. I ask you, please come to that, go to our Facebook page, and look at this. And so, in closing, I just really want to emphasize that, like Governor McAuliffe, who is a Democrat, has not been a leader on this issue at all. He's actually working with Dominion. So as much as we want to blame Trump for everything, right? The reality is this fossil fuel problem has been a long time coming under many forms of leadership. But when you look at the Trump administration, who they're appointing to Secretary of Energy, Secretary of State, as well as the EPA, it's a nightmare. And they're trying to perpetuate this fossil fuel legacy and dump that onto our children. And so I'm going to do everything I can until the day I die to continue to fight for clean water, fight for clean air, and I just ask that you join me, and if we continue to join with each other, that women rally showed me that strength in numbers, we can prevail. I know the Trump administration is already feeling that pressure from all you ladies that were there, standing up for our kids, and I'm just asking you to keep fighting with us. Thank you for having me up here today, and again, if you can check out our Facebook page and website, Potomac River Keeper Network, stay engaged. I will continue to fight with you for clean air and clean water, and I just hope you'll join me, and thank you all for having me today.
All right.
So, you guys know I like chanting. So, I know we're coming to the end of the rally, but I think we have a couple. See, at least one person. I have a couple more chants I'd like to revisit because I love doing them so much. And also, right when we conclude, I'm going to ask everyone to come up to the front. Make sure you have on your Ditch Dirty Fuels sticker. And we're going to take a big group picture. We're going to look so excited and enthusiastic to ditch dirty fuels. Our legislators will just look at it and they'll be like, yeah, what are we talking about over here? We need to ditch dirty fuels right now. So, revisiting our chants.
Say clean energy. Clean energy. Louder.
Clean energy.
Louder.
Clean energy.
They can't hear you during assembly.
Clean